Okay, hello YouTube, this is Skyrictus Farron again, giving you another update to Yosenju deck profile, and this is just my new updated deck, which my friend gave me. Put a link to his channel in the description. He makes all sorts of decks and makes them work, so be sure to check him out, his videos, and see what you think. Okay, let's get started. First, I go with the usual plays of that's not supposed to be there. Where are you? I am sorry that. Yes, 3 Camel 1s. Now this card is a core of the deck. Is one of the main cores because of the fact it's Yosenju and the fact that it opens up your opponent's field to attack with its effect of bouncing to hand. And at nice 1600, it's a nice 4-star beat stick. And of course, it starts up the Yosenju summoning chains. Next are 3 Camel 2s. Some people run these at 2. I run them at 3 because you can go for a nice OTK if you have the right hand. And this card is one of the most crucial cards for getting your resources in conjunction with Camel 3, which I shall explain in a minute next. But yeah, this is a good card at 1800. It's quite good, especially if you just want to do some damage with attacking directly when your opponent's got a massive field or something. Next is 3 Camel 3s. Now, again, with Camel 2, some people run these at 2. I run them at 3 because, this can clog sometimes because you're not always going to want to not always going to want to get your resources, but it's still a 1500 beat stick that can add to an OTK, and again can open up Exceed plays along with the other Yosenju. So it's still a good card. I'll still run it at 3. Next is 2 Sujiks. People sometimes run this at 1. I run it at 2. It's basically onto the deck, whether on the field or in your hand, and so it, again, just like Camel 2 and Camel 3, it can severely help with it can vastly help with the OTK plays. So it's a very good card, and like I said, with its effect, it's basically an honest on the field or in hand, so it's got quite a good utility. Please, I do apologise for the proxies. I actually have GAM seals on order, and they will be here soon. But for now, I actually have to proxy them. Yes, this is. But as you can guess from that, this is the proxies for the Kaiju GAM seal. 2200, 2200 attack, 3000 defense. And this card is basically essential for this deck because if your opponent's got like a boss monster or something you want to get rid of, and it's annoying to get rid of, you can just tribute them onto this, whack out Camel 1 while you have another Yosenju on the field, bounce this to your hand, and you can basically piss off your opponent. If you have multiple Camel 1s, you can do this. You can do it endlessly, or at least up to I don't know, 3 times, I guess. But yeah, it's a great card. It can be annoying when you're unable to bounce it back in the hand, but at least then you'll be able to get rid of your opponent's boss monsters. So it's quite good. 1 Thunder King Ryo. This card is a double-edged sword because it stops either player from adding cards from their deck to their hand, except by drawing them, which can screw up your Yosenjus if you don't have the right board. But if you end up going first and you draw this, and you're just trying to stall for time or whatever, this card can be helpful, and it can stop monster opponent from Exceed summoning a monster or synchroing a monster, so it's quite good. 2 for the last of the monsters, 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This is a recent addition to my deck. Very good card for again, just like Gamseal, for the opponent's boss monsters who activate their effects. You just want to destroy them. Unfortunately, doesn't negate, but it's still quite a good card, and I just think a nice tech for this meta because a lot of people have boss monsters that you want to get rid of, and Ghost Ogre can help you do that. Plus, I like her because she's very cute as for a card. Her artwork is very cute. For spells, 1 Yosen Training Ground. People don't usually run this card because they say it's bad or slow and it can clog. I personally disagree. I run it at 1 because if you get enough counters on it, you can get your resources out easily, or you can just have all your Yosenjus gain an extra 300 for that turn, which can help with the OTK play. It's a good card. Next is Free Tenki. I'm going to be brutally honest here. If you don't play Tenki in Free Tenki in Yosenju, you are incredibly bad. So yeah, sorry about that, but I'm being honest there. This card lets you search out for a Beast Warrior, which Yosenju's all are, and it will make them all have 100 attack. And if you're trying to go for OTK plays, this card can help with that, even if it's only like by 100. Plus, with one of the cards in the extra deck, one of these cards is essential. I shall explain when I get to extra deck. 2 MSTs. I did go with Twin Twisters at first, but I thought it was a bad card because you generally don't want the cards in this deck in the graveyard unless you put them there yourself on purpose. But with Twin Twisters, I just don't think it's good for this deck. And so MST, it has to be these 2. 1 Necro Valley, another good card for this meta, not against all decks like such ABCs and Ritual Beasts, even though Ritual Beasts aren't meta, but still. And it basically stops graveyard plays. Basically stops special summon from graveyard, like Call the Haunted, all that stuff, or removing monsters in the graveyard from play, which quite a few decks have done these days. 2 Pot of Duality. This card is good because Yosenju don't special summon, and you're getting a free card off of it. So it's basically, I'm gonna be funny. It's basically Pot of Greed. In this deck, this card is basically Pot of Greed, except you only get 1 card. So quite good card. Next is Dark Hole. I am going to upgrade this to Raigeki when I get a chance, but Dark Hole is good for now because you can play it before you start the whole Yosenju chain and just screw up your opponent's board if possible. Last of the spells is Dimensional Fissure. I'm still debating actually having this card. It's a good card for decks that don't rely on banishing, so it can screw up your opponents, but the problem is it can also screw you up. But since your Yosenjus don't really go to the graveyard much and instead go to your hand, it's a good card. It can be a good card. With the traps, please forgive me for doing this, but I run 3 secret moves. Some people say that you should run none or just 1, but I personally love 3 because this card is basically the judgment, the solemn judgment of this deck. And with its effect, it's so easy to do because all you need is a Yosenju card in the field, and all your face-up monsters have to be Yosenju. So if you run the Pendulum build and you have no monsters on your field, you can activate this, and it's just great for stopping card effects and monster effects. Next is free lose 1 turns. This card makes it so monsters who are special summoned have their effects negated on that turn they're special summoned. And any monster special summoned while this card is face up in the field goes straight to Deef. So very good card. This card has actually helped me lock down people when I haven't been able to summon monsters such as Morphtronics and that, because they will always make sure they go defense mode, and it will basically spare you a turn to try and do something. So great card. Next, Vantage Emptiness, obviously at 1 because ban list. I don't even need to explain this card. It just stops your player special summoning. It's a great card because you don't special summon in this deck. Free and the ban played on. I am thinking of dropping this to 2 and putting an extra card of the next card in. But this is still a good card. Makes it so it basically stops Exceed plays and opponents swarm in the field with monsters of the same level or rank. So very good card. This is the card. Yes, Rivalry of Warlords. This is the card that I was thinking of putting 1 more of in because it's a great card. Makes it so either player can only control one type of monster. So for me, it'll be Beast Warriors. So good card. Again, thinking of putting it up to 2 and maybe putting and the ban played on down to 2. So yeah, I'm still debating. I'm going to go for 2 traps here. 2 Mirror Forces. I play Mirror Force just for normal destruction, and storing Mirror Force to return to hands when they can't be destroyed. So very good against something like Magic Spectres or something. Last of the traps is Solemn Warning. I'm not even going to explain this card because let's face it, everyone knows what this card does. It's great. Next is the extra deck. For extra deck, I go 1 Tiger King. As soon as it's Exceed summoned, you get another Tenki, which can open up more plays, and its effect can negate all the other cards except Beast Warriors. So very good card. 1 Castell. In this format, this card can be a lifesaver because of its effect to shuffle card in deck, and its other effect, which I believe is, well, I can't read because my camera is screwed. Yes, you can also target one face-up monster and put it in face-down Deef, which can be good when you want to just when your opponent has low Deef and want to get over it. Sorry about that one. I kind of misread it, and I wasn't able to read it. Sorry. Dark Rebellion XC Dragon. This card is also self-explanatory, and it's just great for when you want to just smash every opponent's boss monster that can be destroyed by battle. 2 Gagaga Cowboy. This card is phenomenal when you want to like beat your opponent down, and then when they're in cowboy range, it's always funny when you can just summon cowboy, deal 800, and then just make them lose that way. So it's good for those last minute life points. Heartland Draco. This is the card that relies on that can be relied with Tenki, because if you control a continuous spell card, this card cannot be targeted for attacks, and you can detach one card from it to attack your opponent directly, which, if they have a full build of things that annoy you, this dealing 2k each turn, dealing 2k for 2 turns is not bad. Last is Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This requires 3 full level 4, so it's kind of a one-off in the duel, or if I really need it. It can, and what it has, XC material cannot be targeted for attacks or card effects, so can be quite good. Problem is you have to attach at each of the end phase, but it's still good. For side deck, I have Rainbow Karibo. This is a phenomenal card. I took it out because of the Ghost Ogres, but these basically stop your opponent's monster from attacking one monster anyway. And I mostly side it when I need it, or when I know that my opponent's running a deck which is going to rely on one monster beating down, or just beating down. Next is Spell Shattering Arrow. I know it's an odd card to put in, but I've seen quite a few decks rely on continuous spells, such as Crystal Beast, there's like Crystal Beast, there's like Nova Knight, and all sorts. So this card is just more of a one-off. I put it in more of just for a laugh, but it's kind of a nice card. Sorry about the stuttering. Last for side deck is Lancia. Again, like I mentioned earlier, quite a few decks in this format are banishing, such as Ritual Beasts, ABCs, and I think even Dark Lords do it once or twice. I don't know. I may be wrong, but this card stops them from being banished, so it's a very good card in this format when banishing seems to be a thing. And that's my deck profile. The Yosenjus have always been a personally favourite archetype of mine. So I personally love them. They're getting a bit more support in the form of a spell, but hopefully it'll come out in TCG soon. But yeah, that's my updated deck profile. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, if you liked it, please feel free to like and subscribe. And just I hope that more people will play Yosenjus. They're a really good deck. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.